you're talking of a new wave of collaboration, and for you, Google seems to be the best choice for innovating in terms of collaboration. Why, why did you choose to displace Microsoft? Why did you want to follow the Google way and not the Microsoft way?
Well, first, we're not displacing Microsoft. The power users that use Excel, PowerPoint, Word, those will continue. Our current environment sits on a Lotus Notes platform for email and instant messaging and communication. When we take a look at all of the different platforms, and I'm not going to do the compare and the contrast, when you take a look at the Google platform, it really was the only one that started from a cloud, started from a completely integrated environment. If you take a look at most of the other usual suspects in that space, they've all started from tools that have been integrated.
So you say that Google is a native cloud environment and Microsoft is not.
It's not
offering
a native cloud.
Cloud.
It's an environment that
That's
has
the main
moved,
difference.
That has moved to the cloud. So, and to be honest, the main difference for at least myself, when we were going through the evaluation, was the customer references. When we talked to other customers that had gone Google, there were a few items that really came out in every single conversation. The first was that once adoption started, it started to go much faster than they thought it would. Everybody. The second was, with many of the platforms that allow you to be offline, online, you can really ease yourself into a fully online collaborative environment. With Google, you're diving into the deep end of the pool. There really isn't an ability to ease into that. And it forces some of the changes in behavior, the culture changes that we really want to facilitate. It forces you to be online. It forces you to be visible. It forces you to collaborate. In sharing with even my team yesterday, we were talking about, well, how is it really going to be different? I said, well, now we might take a spreadsheet that we're sharing and we'd email it around, or we might put it into a SharePoint or another shared space. What you're going to do with Google is you're going to start that with a shared document. It's going to stay a shared document. You're actually not going to move it around, so it's going to force that instant collaboration.
So that means that you're going to use the Microsoft apps, I mean the main Word, Excel and so on, but you rely on the collaboration infrastructure of Google. Is that correct?
Yeah, we'll use the collaboration platform of Google, and we will see how the business evolves in terms of their utilization of the Google apps versus the Microsoft. We again, in talking to other peers that have gone down the Google path, none of them eliminated Microsoft. That wasn't really the goal. However, most of them talked about the fact that once the platform started getting adopted, once people started moving to their tablets and their mobile phones and all sorts of different forms of being online, that there was a natural migration to using the entire Google collaborative environment, including apps.
I see. So going with Google, that means going through a journey. Things will change as time goes by.
Things will change as time goes by. We absolutely see that there's going to be a few giant leaps in terms of moving mail, in terms of moving instant messaging. We will be looking at how we roll out Hangouts and video and Google+, as well as how do we start leveraging the apps. For us, I think that there's a tremendous opportunity to leverage the apps environment both for our sales force and for our service.
Yeah. Well, what kind of licenses are you dismissing from Microsoft?
Right now, we're not dismissing anything.
You're not dismissing anything.
We're not dismissing anything, right? The only
so right now it's an investment. It doesn't mean reducing the costs.
This is not a cost-driven initiative. This is an initiative driven around improving the productivity of the enterprise and around improving the engagement and collaboration of our employees. We actually believe that it will help in reducing product development cycle time by improving collaboration. We believe that it will improve our ability to market better because we'll be able to talk amongst our marketing teams better. We believe that we'll be able to sell and service our products in a faster manner because more information will be visible and known by more people, and we'll be able to actually expedite that communication and collaboration. In a traditional environment which we have now, where communication is by phone, maybe an instant message, maybe an email, where there really aren't hangouts, the ways of working are not as collaborative as they really need to be. In the new Google environment, you'll be able to see that these three people are at their desk. You'll be able to instantly engage them both in content and potentially face-to-face in video and actually discuss something, as opposed to the traditional method of corporate solving a problem, which is I will send an email. We're actually going to look to solve a problem then and there. You'll be able to be viewing a spreadsheet or a PowerPoint presentation at the same time and be discussing what is the message that we want to deliver, what is the number that we want to agree on, what is the problem that we're trying to solve. Instead of it going back and forth, it'll actually be real-time communication. That, we think, is going to be a game changer for us from a culture standpoint, from a productivity standpoint, and really from an employee engagement standpoint. I think people will be even happier to work here.
So that means building a cloud environment around the office environment. But that doesn't mean that in the future, in the long run, you're going to dismiss these native office applications with the native Google apps.
What I can say is right now we don't have any plans to migrate anything other than things that are carrying content in legacy platforms, where we would look to move them into the cloud. When we talk about capability, and even if you talk to Google themselves, they will share openly that it is not their intention ever to replace all of the feature-rich capabilities of the Microsoft Office suite. So if we have advanced finance users like every company has, who have macros and giant spreadsheets and things that link together and pull things together, those will still exist. And Microsoft will still be a partner and part of our environment. Slide is going to be a useful tool to develop presentations, but Slide is not going to replace every single feature that Microsoft PowerPoint has. So we really see continuing to use the appropriate tools for the appropriate method. Now, if we're talking about a field force sales manager trying to communicate some numbers back and forth with their representative, maybe they can actually use Google instead of sending big Excel spreadsheets back and forth, and maybe they can actually work on the same spreadsheet at the same time, as opposed to emailing and pulling things together. You can say, okay, here's what the information that I want. You put it one place. 7 different sales representatives are going to update their part. There's no pulling it together, collecting it, finding people. It'll be right there, and it'll be online, and it'll be visible for everybody.
So this is an investment that is being made across the enterprise, across the corporation. That means that in every office you're working, that's going to be a Google environment.
Yes. So I look after IT in addition to Emea. I look after it for Asia, which for us is primarily India and China.
And how long is it going to take to implement the whole thing?
We are conservatively saying 12 to 18 months. And a lot of that has to do with upgrading our own infrastructure and putting things in place to make sure that once we go Google, the user experience is one that is a good user experience. So if we can do it faster, we will. We certainly are trying to, and I actually am sure that we will beat that estimate. But there are things that need to be done.